Okay, I'm Catherine Martinez-Schoof, and I'm going to be dissecting a cow eyeball. So the first thing that we look at is we see what we can see before we dissect it. So this right here is the cornea, and then around it here is the sclera, and the cornea and the sclera, when you have the eyeball, it's the outer layer that goes together. It's essentially the hard protective layer that goes around the eyeball. And then all of this is the muscle, because your eye needs to be able to move different directions. And so I don't know how many cows have, but on the human eyeball, there's a superior rectus, inferior rectus, a lateral rectus, which goes towards like the nose area, and then no, the lateral is on the side with the ear, and then the medial rectus is on the side near the nose, so that it can turn different directions. And then somewhere back here is the optic nerve, but I can't see it right now. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're going to cut off all of the muscle. So we'll do that now. And not rip out any other parts. Apparently I need better scissors. Okay. So now that we've cut off some of the muscle on it, we can see the extension of the sclera behind the muscle. And the next part we're gonna do is I'm going to puncture the cornea, and when I puncture it, we're gonna use this. Let's see here. If I can, yep, there we go. So when you puncture it, see how there's water that's gonna come out? That's called the aqueous humerus. And so what it does is it keeps the shape of the eyeball, and it's between your cornea, and then you've got the lens and the retina area, and there's aqueous humor that comes out. So we've got to get all of that out now. And then we're going to cut into the sclera right here so that we have a back half and a front half. So I'm going to use this to cut into the sclera, which is the white part. Did you guys know? I'm going to talk to you guys now because I need to do something while I cut. When you guys have red on your eyes, like when there are veins, so the eye technically doesn't have any, that's the sclera that goes around it. Yeah, okay. Let's see here. And I'm going to attempt to cut it. Let's see. So the sclera is super thick. There's like a lot of layers to it so that your eye is protected, which makes it hard to get into. Well, and I don't want to cut any of the other things we have to see. Are you freaking out, husband of mine? There we go. Okay. Yep, that'll work perfect. So we're going to cut around the sclera now. If I can. I'm hoping. Yep, we're doing great. Okay, so when we open it up, almost. Oh, that's why. Okay, so we open it up, and so we've got the back of the eyeball and the front of the eyeball here. So this aqueous solution up here, so there's a jelly type filling inside of it. And that's called the vitreal humerus. Yes. Okay, so now once we're in here, we're going to, so the cornea has multiple layers to it. It's really thick. And so I'm gonna push into it and you can probably hear it crunch, which is kind of crazy. Can you hear the crunch? My husband's like, yuck. Okay, so now that we're inside of it, I'm gonna remove some of this vitreal humerus. Okay, and so normally the sclera is white. In this case, it wasn't, it was gray. But in here, we're gonna take out the retina. Let's see. So I'm gonna actually flip it inside out because it's easier. Okay, so this would be part of the retina right here. Can you see that? And inside the retina, there's muscles on side of the iris that help it so that the pupil can close and dilate. So they've got the radial ones that kind of look like rays that go on the outside here. And then on the inside is, I don't remember what they're called. Some other kind. Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's see. What is it called? So the iris is between the cornea and the lens. Let's see if I can take it out. I'm not great at this. There we go. Oh no. There we go. So that's the iris. And it's really cool. If you get close enough, you can actually see the different muscles on it that move around, which is so cool to me. Okay, so that's that part. And then, can you help me flip this over? Okay, inside of here, thank you. So this is the front half. On the front half, we had the iris, the pupil, the cornea, and then on the back, we have all of this vitreal humerus. And then, so this back here is your retina. And so that's essentially, so light comes in, it comes through, and it goes through this clear liquid stuff here and the lens, and it projects onto here. And that is where also all of these blood vessels and nerves are that will then send it back to your brain. And all of them go, there's a part, so when you hear people having a detached retina, like boxers and people like that, this is essentially what happens. Like it's, so when the eyeball is together, the aqueous humerus and the vitreous humerus, they kind of hold the shape of the eyeball. And so your retina's placed on the back of the eyeball of this part right here, which is called the, I don't remember at the moment what it's called. The tapetum or something like that. Anyway, it's placed on the back of that, but the retina is really only held together right here. And that's essentially all the blood vessels combine and they go to your optic nerve. So they all come together and it's held on just by your optic nerve here, which if I pulled this back and got rid of all of this muscle, is back here. Yep, right there. Let's see if I can get to it. So right back here is the optic nerve. It's that little piece right there. That essentially goes to everywhere it's supposed to go. And on the back here, this is called, the tapetum. What is it called? tapetum. There we go. And this part's really cool. So you know how we look at our dog at night and we see the reflection of like green or yellow or something. So on a cow's eye, they show bluish green. So it's essentially the light comes out back and is reflected back outside of their eyes. So when we look at it in the dark, it has different colors to it. And I think that is it. So that's on the back here. So we've got the tapetum, we've got the retina, and then on top of that is all the scleratus and the corona. And I think that's it.
You didn't talk about popping the lens out.
Oh, thanks. The lens. You are correct. So the lens, this is the lens. Thank you, husband. He looks forward to that. This is the best part. Okay, so this is the lens. So the lens, it goes, the cornea is here, and then there's the iris and the pupil, and then this is behind it in the vitreous humerus, and it's what things go through, and then it's like essentially the projector that projects onto the retina that then sends it everywhere else. And it's supposed to be clear enough for you to see through. It's one of the videos I watched, the lady was like, when we did frog dissections, we used to bounce them and play marbles because it's super hard. But you're supposed to be able to look through it, and I'm gonna have to throw this away. This is part of what we're supposed to do in the video. You're supposed to be able to like see it, and it magnifies everything. But this one is not clean enough to do that with. That's the lens. You can kind of see through it. So there you go. The cow is blind. The cow's been sitting in all sorts of stuff. Yeah. And that is the end of my presentation.